Okay, Sagittarius rising, there's a total solar eclipse happening in your ninth house of Leo. What will that mean for you specifically? I'm Sook Boy. You're awesome. Let's talk about it. In astrology, an eclipse is particularly significant as it is symbolic of major beginnings and major endings in whatever area of the chart is being activated. In your case, it's the ninth and the third house. This eclipse could be asking you to reconsider some of your closely held beliefs. Beliefs that are associated with your own cult of personality, your identity. Coping mechanisms that have allowed you to potentially ignore some facts in favor of your own truth or opinions. Now, I don't need to really spell this out, but your beliefs are just so important. They inform your perceptions. Those perceptions inform your judgments, and those judgments inform your actions and how things play out in your life. So while beliefs can be rather dogmatic, it doesn't mean they can't be deconstructed. And that's basically the point of this Leo Aquarius axis in your third and ninth houses. But the ninth house doesn't just represent beliefs. It can also represent the truth, legal matters, overseas travel, mentors, advising others, consultation, for example, gurus that you might have in your life. Not to mention your higher education and how you acquire knowledge. Whereas the third house is how you learn. The ninth house is what you do with the facts that you learn. More than anything though, this ninth house is about your vision of the future. What do you believe could be true for you moving into later stages of your life? Ninth house can also govern over wisdom. But what is wisdom? Wisdom, from my perspective, is a combination of the mistakes and errors you make in your life and the experience that you went through while making said mistakes. That equals wisdom. In other words, facts don't inform wisdom. You need to actually apply those facts to an experience and actually learn from them. That's how we acquire knowledge. Now, the North Node has just moved into your third house, and this is the house of communication, about how you learn. And it's asking you to go back to the facts, go back to the evidence that has somehow informed the conclusions you've made about the world, or about your circumstances, or about your vision of the future. What are the facts? What is the evidence? Do you need to update that program? Or do you need to learn to restructure the way you communicate your message to others so it can land for them? Or accepting that your message may never land for others and stop being addicted to the idea of people needing to understand you. You're allowed to be experimental. You're allowed to be left of center and controversial. Not everyone is going to be able to understand you. Many of you might be asked to let go of old doctrines, teachers, mentors, and gurus. Maybe they're just living rent-free in your belief system, but you've actually outgrown their teachings. Have you outgrown their guidance? Now, I'm not just talking about a person. I could talk about a whole modality. Have you outgrown astrology? Is it serving its purpose for you in your life anymore? Just for example. Now, Jupiter, your chart ruler, which rules over literally your identity, your body, how you interface with reality. It also is the ruler of your fourth house of Pisces. And this could speak to the fact that you're finished with your local area and it's time to move on. Or something to do with your private world is in a bit of a shift. It needs to be audited. It needs to be restructured. It could have something to do with a local business, a relationship with your neighborhood. It could have something to do with your siblings or extended family. Some pressure being applied there in some way. Or with Saturn in your fifth house of children, maybe it's something to do with facilitating your children in some way. And there's some kind of disturbance or something that you need to let go of, a limiting belief perhaps, that is asking you to come to terms with and accept your current reality when it comes to that home or living situation, potentially a relationship with your parents, the way you parent, or just who you are when no one's watching, your own self-concept. Have you become too dogmatic, too rigid when it comes to your own belief system and how that is expressed via yourself? Is it still filling your cup? There is, with Saturn in your fifth house, somewhat of a reality check when it comes to how you want to express yourself and what you want to invest into when it comes to your own passions and interests. Does that line up with your private world? Does it line up with your vision of the future? Now, this is an excellent time for reskilling, finding new skills, exposing yourself to new data sets, new evidence, verifying your facts versus your opinions. This could look like making a homage, traveling, exposing yourself to completely different cultures, completely different worldviews, absorbing a new course, enrolling in a new course, getting a new mentor, asking someone else from a completely different walk of life, socioeconomic side of the spectrum, to actually give you their perspective. Finally, I wouldn't expect for fireworks to actually go off during this eclipse. Eclipses tend to unfold over the next 6 months. And to be honest, it might not have anything to do with you. As I said, it could have something to do with the people that you live with, your parents, your children, or with Mercury conjunct Jupiter forming a sextile down to Uranus in your 7th house. You could be experiencing it through your partner or important relationships, romantic, business, platonic, or otherwise. In other words, they could be having some kind of existential crisis and it's rubbing off on you in some way, shape, or form. As a thank you for watching this entire video, please feel free to send me a DM. I'll send you a coupon code for 30 Australian dollars off my natal and transit readings exclusively for new clients. Hope that helps. Okay, bye.